Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on cloud security. We're going way beyond the usual headlines to really get into the nitty-gritty of the biggest risks out there, the unlocked digital doors and the stolen keys. And our guide for this whole deep dive is Chapter 3 of Dr. Muhammad Ali's work on cloud computing security.
You know, the cloud really has given our organizations superpowers. I mean, the agility, the scale, it's a total game changer. But with all that new power comes a new kind of battlefield for security, one that's way bigger and a whole lot more complex. We're not just building walls around a castle anymore. We're trying to secure this constantly shifting digital world.
So to really wrap your head around this, think about how different things are now. Security used to be like a castle, right? You had high walls, a deep moat, one big gate. You defended that one entry point like crazy. But the cloud? It's not a castle. It's a massive, sprawling city, and it has thousands of doors and windows. Every single service, every function is an API, and that's a potential way in that needs its own lock. Trust isn't about where you are anymore. It's all about who you are. Okay, so what are the biggest dangers lurking in this new city? You're probably picturing some super sophisticated hacker in a dark room, right? Well, surprisingly, the most common threat is way simpler and honestly a lot more common. It's just an unlocked door. And this quote really hits the nail on the head. So often, the biggest risk we face in the cloud is one we create ourselves. Think about it. There are hundreds of services, thousands of settings. It's incredibly complex, and that complexity makes it so easy for someone to make one tiny mistake that leaves a critical system wide open. And when we talk about mistakes, we're talking about stuff that seems almost shockingly simple. Things like accidentally leaving a storage bucket full of sensitive data open for anyone on the internet to see. Or giving someone an access policy, that's the IAM part, that's way too permissive, letting them do way more than they should. Each and every one of these is like putting out a welcome mat for an attacker. But what if an attacker doesn't even have to look for an open door? What happens when they just steal the keys to your entire account? This right here is the classic playbook, and it is brutally effective because it doesn't target technology, it targets people. It all starts with a simple phishing email that looks totally legit, maybe from IT or a partner. An employee clicks, enters their password on a fake page, and boom, just like that, the attacker has the keys. They log in looking like any other user and can just walk right out with your company's crown jewels. Now, to see just how bad these simple threats can get in the real world, let's dive into a really powerful case study from the source material, the Phobos ransomware attacks that hit Nigeria. So back in early 2026, Nigeria's national cybersecurity team, NGCERT, started sounding the alarm bells. A really nasty ransomware group called Phobos was systematically going after the country's cloud infrastructure, and things were getting bad fast. Now, what made Phobos so incredibly dangerous wasn't just its malicious code. It was its business model. It works as ransomware as a service. I mean, they've basically industrialized cybercrime. Less skilled hackers can just rent these powerful attack tools, launch huge campaigns, and then split the profits with the creators. It's crime, but perfectly scaled for the cloud era. And this timeline just shows you how methodical they were. It usually started with that same simple mistake we talked about, an unlocked door. In this case, it was an exposed remote desktop protocol, or RDP port. That's a tool admins use to manage servers from far away. Once they're in, they move quietly, stealing more credentials with tools like Mimikatz, which is famous for just ripping passwords right out of a computer's memory, before they finally drop the ransomware and encrypt everything. And here is the absolutely crucial part. The attackers weren't just hitting one company, no. They were targeting cloud service providers. So by hitting just one provider, they could effectively hold dozens of critical organizations hostage. We're talking government agencies, banks, NGOs, all at the same time. It's a supply chain attack, and the cloud just amplifies the damage massively. This all leads us to the fundamental problem of modern cyber defense. These attacks happen at machine speed. They're way too fast for human security teams to keep up with on their own. That whole Phobos attack, from getting in the door to locking everything down, could happen in just a matter of hours. So the question is, how in the world do you fight an automated, super fast threat if you don't have an equally fast automated defense? You just can't. You can't ask a human analyst to react in milliseconds. It's impossible. The answer that the research proposes is, well, you fight fire with fire. You fight automation with automation. And that's where something called agentic AI comes in. The best way to think of these are as autonomous security guards, AI agents that are watching 24/7, making decisions, and taking action to stop threats, all at the exact same speed as the attackers.
So instead of a person trying to sort through millions of alerts, an AI agent sees the telltale signs of ransomware as it's happening. It can instantly isolate the infected computer to stop the attack from spreading, block any communication going out to the attacker, and then alert the human team with a full breakdown. And this is huge. It can even kick off the recovery process from clean backups, containing the entire threat in seconds, not hours. The key takeaway here is that this technology isn't about replacing people, it's about empowering them. It's a force multiplier. It handles the insane volume and speed of modern attacks so that the human experts, the security pros, can focus on what they do best: the high-level strategy, hunting for new threats, and building tougher defenses for the future.
And that really leaves us with a final, pretty heavy question to think about. In a world where cyber attacks are becoming more and more autonomous, more often run by AI, can we really afford for our defenses to be anything less?